What's going on, everybody? NFL fans unite as we are coming in with a week 2 edition of the Truth League Report. And we're definitely going to get some things going as we got some news of a big injury to a key player from Monday night. We're definitely going to talk a lot about that. Also, there were some very exciting games from week 2 that we're definitely going to talk about. And we got a bunch of teams that are 2-0, but we also got some teams that are 0-2. Who could fall from the ranks of the unbeatens as the season go on, and who could possibly rise from the ashes of 0-2. We're definitely going to talk about that and a lot more right here on the Truth League Report in less than 60 seconds. Good evening, Titan Nation. How is everybody? What's going on, football fans? How's everybody doing this evening? Welcome in to the week 2 edition of the Truth League Report. I am your host, Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, aka The Truth, and we are broadcasting live from the Truth Studios here in Memphis, Tennessee. Definitely make sure y'all go ahead and share this show out, as this show is for all football fans, not just Titan fans. You know, I am a Titans fan, but this is for all football fans to unite together and to come in and join this show. And make sure you follow me on Facebook at TNT Enforcers, on Instagram at Titans_in_truth, as well as on Twitter X at TNT Blue Enforcer. Definitely make sure you follow me on those channels right there. And super chats are definitely appreciated as well. Also, you can follow on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts as well. And everybody that comes in, definitely make sure you hit that like button. Definitely go ahead and hit that like button, and definitely help me out as well. And if you're new to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that bell and hit all, so that way you'll know when I go live, because I'm going to be doing some different things now. Definitely going to be doing this show about the league and everything going on around the NFL. Of course, I have my weekly show, TNT Tonight, talking all things Tennessee Titans and whoever the next opponent is. This week, we're going to be really going down in depth into the Cleveland Browns as we get ready to host them at the dog. We get ready to play them rather in the Dog Pound week 3 in Cleveland, Ohio. And then also, we have another show that we've debuted. It is called Down to the T. And so this is about all things Tennessee sports. So it's not just the Tennessee Titans. We'll be talking college football with the Tennessee Vols. We'll be talking about Vanderbilt a little bit. May throw in some MTSU, Memphis Tigers. When the Memphis Grizzlies begin their season, we're going to talk about some Grizzlies action as well and everything. So definitely stay tuned for that. We do that on every Friday as well, as we preview some of the games that are coming up in college football coming as well. So definitely stay tuned for that. But definitely make sure y'all definitely follow on these channels, and you get more information as time goes on. And I appreciate everybody coming in. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, I had my picks this week, and the scores are going to be showing underneath. Obviously, I had my Titans beating the Chargers. Uh, I had Buffalo winning. So I had Buffalo winning. I had I had some teams winning that did not fare as well as I would have liked them to fare. To be perfectly honest, so I probably didn't have the best week. I did pick Pittsburgh to win. I did pick New Orleans to win. Miami took care of business as well. I had Denver over Washington, but Washington got the victory there. Dallas definitely got a win. New York got a win. So, that's about 5 right there. That's about 5 victories. Then I had San Francisco, so that's 6. I had Houston over Indy, but Indy got the win. Kansas City takes care of business. The Bears fall to the Buccaneers, so that didn't do good. Detroit lost. Cincinnati falls. So I believe I got 9 wins on the week in my picking. So not exactly the greatest week in the world for me, but not too bad. Picked a few good few matchups there that I thought were pretty good, but it didn't fare too great. Could have won a few more games. But that's what football is all about. It is about the drama. It is about you're thinking one team is going to win, but then another team comes out of nowhere and does something great. And that's usually how it goes and everything. But in a lot of games, you do have injuries. They do happen all over the league. And a massive injury happened last night on Monday Night Football for the Cleveland Browns as running back Nick Chubb suffered a season-ending knee injury in the loss to the Steelers on Monday night. They fell 26. They fell 26-22 to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they fall to 1-1 on the year. But head coach Kevin Stefanski has already come out and has basically ruled Nick Chubb out for the remainder of the season. And because of that, former Kansas City Chief and Cleveland Brown running back Kareem Hunt is visiting the Browns today as far as they may need some more depth at running back. Stefanski has already come out and said we're going forward with running back Jerome Ford as our feature back, but they may bring in Kareem Hunt as well. And I would think that that's probably going to happen at some point. We don't know yet, but that is an option that they're looking at possibly bringing in. And so losing Nick Chubb for the Browns, pretty devastating to their offense because he's been pretty much the focal point. He's the bell cow for that offense as Deshaun Watson kind of gets his bearings right in Cleveland as the starting quarterback of the Browns. You can rely on that running game, but now with Nick Chubb down, that's going to be pretty hard to continue to do. And then also, knowing the fact this week, the Browns have a very tough task ahead of them and a very good defense in the Tennessee Titans, especially one of the best against the run. They don't like giving up run yardage. So if you don't have Nick Chubb in there, it could be very tough to run the football for Cleveland. We're definitely going to find out about that. Prayers definitely up to Nick Chubb as he, tries to recover from this injury and, hope that he'll make it back for next season. But definitely a very devastating blow to the Cleveland Browns. But there was some definite drama that happened in these games on Sunday, and we're gonna go into our immediate top 5 games from this past Sunday. And I'm not going in any particular order or anything like that, but definitely make sure y'all leave me your comments on which games did you think was worthy of being in the top 5 if it is not one of these. I definitely know the Vikings, of course, tried to come back against the Eagles. They were down 27-7, tried to come back, but fell short 34-28 on Thursday Night Football. But which one of your games was one of the top games? Definitely leave me a comment in the comments section. But we'll start with number 5, and that is there was a party in the ATL as the Atlanta Falcons came back. They were down 17-9 at one point and down 24-12, found a way to come back behind Desmond Ridder and Bijan Robinson, who had 19 carries, 124 yards, and he is definitely as advertised as the Atlanta Falcons under Arthur Smith moved to 2-0 on the year. And you could tell Desmond Ridder is starting to kind of settle down in Atlanta as the starting quarterback there, but it does help when you have a very good running back in Bijan Robinson. You got Kyle Pitts at tight end, and you definitely have Drake London out there, the wide receiver from USC, who could just flat out catch the football. And so Atlanta is starting to really reinforce themselves a little bit. And I mean, the NFC South has always been a division where anybody can win it. Usually the team that finishes the worst comes up out of nowhere and wins that division. So Atlanta at 2-0, that is a very that's going to be a very interesting situation. And then, of course, also with the New Orleans Saints being 2-0 down there as well. I mean, right now, the NFC South is looking pretty hot right now. I mean, not only is Atlanta 2-0, Tampa Bay's 2-0, New Orleans is 2-0. Now, that's all going to change when all of these teams play each other in the division. That's going to definitely change. But Atlanta starting off with a nice party in the ATL, coming back from behind, beating Green Bay and Jordan Love. Number 4. And this is more so about the team that lost more than the team that won. The Bengals fall into 0-2, and they've lost. Not only have they lost 2 games, not only have they lost 2 games in the AFC, they've lost 2 games in the division already, because they've already fell to the Cleveland Browns week 1, and now they turn around and lose to the Baltimore Ravens in week 2 in their home opener. Could there be problems brewing in Cincinnati? And it also looked like Joe Burrow kind of retweaked his ankle injury as well. So we don't know what's going to happen with that. I mean, right now it looks like Joe Burrow is going to be fine, but right now the Bengals are struggling at the moment. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens impressed. They came in and, Lamar Jackson was basically his old self. He found Mark Andrews for a touchdown. He got some passes to Nelson Aguilar, who kind of asserted himself as a decent wide receiver, even though they lost OBJ to an ankle injury. But losing J.K. Dobbins has not stopped the Ravens just yet, even though they're dealing with injuries right now. But the Ravens are at 2-0. And the Bengals are 0-2 for the 4th time in 5 years. And we're going to talk about 0-2 teams later as far as who could come out of the ashes of 0-2 and still make the playoffs. I can guarantee you the Bengals could be one of those teams in that conversation. So, I mean, congrats to the Ravens, but wow, Bengals got work to do. I know there's a certain Bengals fan out there in the state of Florida who I know who is not very happy at this immediate moment. Number 3. There was a big-time shootout in the Motor City of Detroit, Michigan. And that was for the second straight year in a row. Because last year the Seattle Seahawks beat the Detroit Lions in a shootout in Detroit, 48-45. This year was no different. Another shootout for the ages between the two, and the Seattle Seahawks outlast Detroit 37-31 in overtime. Seattle got the ball first, and they get the walk-off touchdown to Tyler Lockett and beat the Lions. So Seattle gets to 1-1, and that's where Detroit is also at 1-1. But that was a heck of a ball game. I mean, Jared Goff definitely went shot for shot with them. Got a couple touchdown passes to Josh Reynolds as well. But Tyler Lockett's 2 TDs definitely did the story. Also, a standout from Arlington, Tennessee, not very far from here, Kenneth Walker III, formerly from Michigan State, rushed for 2 touchdowns, as well as the Seahawks get to 1-1. Geno threw for over 300 yards in this game. And again, Geno Smith is a hell of a story. You know, after things went bad with the Jets, he was backing up with the Chargers, and it just seemed like his career was over, and he has resurrected his career in Seattle. Shout out to Geno Smith. Number 4. How about the G-Men, the Giants, who got thoroughly embarrassed on Sunday Night Football, where the Dallas Cowboys just completely spanked them 40-0. They go out to the desert, was down 3 touchdowns, was down 20-0 and 28-7 at one point in the second half, found a way to rally from behind from a 21-point deficit to beat the Arizona Cardinals, albeit the listless Arizona Cardinals, 31-28 to get to 1-1 on the year, and the Cardinals fall to 0-2 on the year. And I mean, I gotta give it to Daniel Jones. There was a time I said when they extended Daniel Jones that it was a mistake. And then they even restructured his deal. I thought that was a mistake too. But Daniel Jones led the way, and Saquon Barkley got a couple of touchdowns as well in that comeback, but he also left the game with an injury, and there was definitely frustration seen on his face because, you know, for him, it was like he kind of bet on himself this season, with the holdout and all the contract talks and everything with Saquon. He bet on himself, and he was visibly frustrated, like, not again. Like, it just seemed like it was happening all over again for him. But the Giants do get the win, and that was definitely a dramatic comeback, if I do say so myself. But the number 1 game, and I give shout out to a good friend of mine, to my best friend, Miss Crystal Hayward. She's probably not going to like me saying it like this, but the Commanders take command. They take command. And she would still like to call them the Redskins, but I'm just going to call them the Washington Football Team for her. The Commanders get a 35-33 comeback win. They were down 21-3 at one point early in the first half, but then they climbed their way back into the game and shot the Broncos. They shot the Broncos, even though the Broncos had a couple of big plays. And even though Washington came back, took the lead, along a last desperate Hail Mary by Russell Wilson was caught for a touchdown for the Broncos, but then the Commanders make the big stop on the 2-point conversion to preserve the win. Even though Benjamin St-Juste could have gotten called for pass interference there against Courtland Sutton, but it was not called. The Commanders get a win. They are 2-0 on the year, and in very impressive fashion. And then Denver, of course, falls to 0-2. So there were some great, great games that definitely happened on this Sunday and on this Monday as well, that definitely happened. And that will lead me into my top 5 ballers. Who balled out on Sunday. Give me your comments. Who you thought was a big-time baller, had a big-time game in victory. You know, definitely. I know a lot of Titan fans will say Ryan Tannehill had a redemption. He played good, but he still got to be a little bit more consistent for me. But here are some of my top 5 ballers. Again, no particular order. Got to give some love to Sam Howell of the Commanders, because I thought Washington was going to suck with Sam Howell at quarterback, and he led them back from that 21-3 deficit, threw for 299 yards, 2 touchdowns. The defense, that vaunted defensive line, had themselves a party. 7 sacks on Russell Wilson, including a sack and a half each from Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Daron Payne got in on the party as well. So, I mean, I am very impressed with Washington. Again, we go back to the comeback kids. Daniel Jones threw for 321 yards, 2 touchdowns in the comeback victory over the Arizona Cardinals. Could Daniel Jones actually establish himself as a good quarterback? That still remains to be seen, but we're definitely going to see. How about them Eagles flying high on Swift? See how I did that there? Because there's a transportation company here in Memphis called Swift Transportation. And so definitely got to give a shout out to DeAndre Swift, who had 28 carries, 175 yards, a touchdown. Also, Devontae Smith, the wide receiver, had 4 catches, 131 yards of the score as well. And so the Eagles flying high at 2-0, trying to get back to the Super Bowl and maybe win one. And so definitely shout out to DeAndre Swift. The Steelers, of course, got to give it up for their defense. Alex Highsmith with a pick 6 on the very first play from scrimmage. A pick 6 to get things started for the Steelers. But George Pickens is establishing himself. He's an underrated receiver. 4 catches, 127 yards and a touchdown. And he is really starting to come alive as one of the better receivers, better young receivers in this league. And so a very impressive outing for the Steelers as they get to 2-0. And even though I usually don't shine on somebody in a losing effort, here's a guy whose name y'all might want to get to know. His name is Puka Nacua, rookie from BYU, who has come in, and I mean, he's already had 25 catches in 2 games. Of course, he's stepping up in place of Cooper Kupp, who is down. He had 15 catches for 147 yards. Of course, last week had 10 catches in the victory for the Rams last week. And so, I mean, extremely impressed by this young man, with what he did. Even though it was in a losing effort, you could tell that Matt Stafford likes him a lot. I'm gonna try to see if I can get him on my fantasy team. I don't know if he got picked up already. I hope he hasn't, because if he hasn't, I'm gonna go scoop him up. I'm gonna go scoop him up big time. So I am definitely, trying to see if I could do that, but it looks like somebody else had already scooped him up. So I may have to make a trade to see if I can get him, but I probably won't be able to. But very impressive by this young man, having a nice start to his NFL career. Definitely. So definitely do like this kid. Let's see if he's even a rookie. Let me see. Yeah, he's a rookie. Round 5 draft pick. Okay, so I did get that right. But definitely shout out to him. But now, before we do get ready to get out of here for this edition, there's always that talk You got teams that are 2-0, and you got teams that are 0-2. And there are 9 NFL teams that are 2-0. There are nine 2-0 teams that make the playoffs. And since then, 63%, since 1990, 63% of teams that start 2-0 have a 63% chance of making the playoffs. almost 64% chance you're going to make the playoffs if you start off 2-0. Also, at the very same time, there are 9 teams that are 0-2. And the percentage chances of them making the playoffs is only 11%. So there are 9 teams that are 2-0. And those teams, you got the Cowboys, the Dolphins, the 49ers, the Ravens, the Falcons, the Saints, the Buccaneers, the Eagles, and the Commanders, all 2-0. Teams that are 0-2, the Patriots, the Vikings, the Chargers, the Panthers, the Texans, the Bengals, who we mentioned earlier, the Cardinals, the Bears, and the Denver Broncos, all 0-2. So here's my question to all of you. Which team that is 2-0 could end up being a facade, could end up being phony, could end up falling from grace? Because we have seen where teams start off hot and then cool off later in the year. And then you also got teams that have started off slow but have picked it up as the year goes on. Even though it is very unlikely a team 0-2 makes the playoffs, it has happened before. It has and can happen before. So I'm going to tell y'all, a team that is 2-0 that I think is a facade, that I think could fall from grace. One of them, I'm going to have to say Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay is a facade. I think they have a chance to be a 2-0 team that kind of falls from grace. That it starts off 2-0, but then it doesn't end very well for them. So I think that's a team that definitely could fall from grace. I would say Washington, but they have a very, very good defense, a very, very good defensive line. And maybe there is some belief in Sam Howell, especially with Eric Bieniemy as offensive coordinator. So maybe not. But I will definitely say I think Tampa Bay falls from grace. I think that's definitely one team that could fall from 2-0. And dare I say, what team could crawl out from the ashes of 0-2 and possibly have a shot at making the playoffs? I mentioned Cincinnati because, Joe Burrow is just too darn good to not rise from the ashes. I think Cincinnati is still going to be there competing for the NFC North, and they're definitely going to be a Super Bowl contender going on. But I think another team that could definitely rise from the ashes of 0-2, I'm going to go, and this might sound crazy, I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. Now, I don't think they're going to challenge Kansas City necessarily, but I do think Denver, with Russell Wilson and Sean Payton, I think have a chance to climb out of the hole. Definitely could climb out of the 0-2 hole. I was thinking the LA Chargers because they got so many weapons offensively. I do think that the Chargers could climb out of it as well. But I was kind of going unconventional with going with the Denver Broncos. I do think with Russell Wilson, with Sean Payton as a head coach, I think they definitely could get out of there. But it will remain to be seen how they do on that. But I could see Denver, I could see Cincinnati, I could see the Chargers climbing out of that hole. But I think that's going to just about do it for the Truth League report this week, as we do get ready for some big games coming up in week 3. Definitely going to be excited about that. I believe the Giants play on Thursday night. Definitely going to look at that. Giants 49ers Thursday night in California. We're definitely going to talk a lot of Titans Browns tomorrow on TNT tonight. There's definitely some decent games. Chargers, Vikings. I think I'm going to kind of see, can the Commanders take the Bills down? That's going to be very interesting to definitely see there. Steelers, Raiders on Sunday Night Football, a old rivalry renewed. I know a lot of people are going to watch that, myself included. And then on Monday night, Rams, Bengals, I think is going to be a good game. So definitely looking forward to all of that. Again, definitely make sure y'all hit that like button. Go ahead and smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit all under that bell so that you can get all the notifications. Again, definitely make sure y'all stay tuned for the Truth League report. For TNT tonight, tomorrow night. As we will talk Titans Browns. And then on Friday night, get ready for Down to the T as we talk Tennessee sports. We'll see how the Vols can rebound after their loss. On Saturday, the Memphis Tigers head to St. Louis for a big matchup against the Missouri Tigers. We're definitely going to talk about all of that and more this week on this Titans and Truth channel. So thank everybody for tuning into the show. I'm your man Chris, aka Blue Enforcer, aka The Truth. Again, make sure y'all follow all the channels. Definitely make sure you follow on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter X. And I will see y'all next week for the Truth League report. Friday night we'll make picks.